Hunter x Hunter is probably one of the most special anime I have ever seen. It's so rare for an anime to get so many aspects right at once, but Hunter x Hunter gets it right. You know when people accuse an artist of selling their soul to the devil to get fame and success, but then they have only one popular pop hit and the theory no longer sounds so credible? Well, if someone tells me that Togashi sold his soul to the devil to get one of the coolest stories with one of the most compelling characters I have ever seen and a spectacular soundtrack, I would say, yeah, it makes sense. And the thing is, the world of Hunter x Hunter is incredible. There are few fictional stories that have grabbed me like this before. I mean, it has 148 episodes, and I don't remember being bored at any point of the story. And what makes Hunter x Hunter special is that, unlike other anime, in Hunter x Hunter, actions do have consequences. The world Togashi created is so real that conflict sometimes ends with the death of a character. And no, they are not resurrected 10 episodes later in the story, and I like that. Sometimes completely innocent characters die. Sometimes characters feel fear because they are aware that they are more powerful beings than them. It gives it a touch of reality that few anime manage to achieve, and that's why the characters in Hunter x Hunter feel so real. Gon is not the strongest character. He doesn't start the story with a focus seal in his body, which makes him special and extremely powerful. In fact, many times Gon encounters people much more powerful than him, and that itself gives us a sense of danger that is very rare to see. There's this scene where Gon and Killua are hiding from the Phantom Troop. Nobunaga is speaking on the phone and suddenly spots them. It's really hard to describe how intense the scene felt. They knew things would end up bad if they caught them, and their panic when trying to escape is so well portrayed. How many times have you seen an anime protagonist be paralyzed with true terror? Usually it's more like, oh yeah, I'm going to train real hard and defeat you. Starts eating 8 bowls of rice, but not here. The antagonists felt truly powerful. Another example. There's this other scene when you could really feel the danger they were entering through, and that was in the Chimera Ants arc. Unlike the Phantom Troop, the Chimera Ants appear to have a complete absence of shades in their morals, and that makes them terrifying and in some ways really compelling as antagonists. I was truly afraid the Chimera Ants would run into the main characters, and all started with this scene. Bonzo was like the most happy Dragon Ball Z character of them all. Her death was so brutal, unexpected, and unfair. It truly took me by surprise. And the way her body kept twitching as the Chimera Ant kept shooting was so fucking disturbing. The Chimera Ant's cruelty was so palpable. It was scary to see the casualness with which they treat humans like animals. The empty look in their eyes as if in their heads they saw us as nothing more than simple insects. It's really hard to create characters that evoke such powerful emotions, and the sheer quality and diversity of the characters Togashi delivers are insane, all of them with their well-defined powers, personalities, and motivations. I haven't seen so many anime that have managed to get me so invested in secondary characters. And if you think about it, it's so weird to have secondary characters that aren't just characters whose sole existence is based on defeating or helping clean the main character's ass. In Hunter x Hunter, every character does what they want to do. Hisoka, for example, sometimes helps Gon, but only because it's intertwined with what he wants. No, Dad. Some of the secondary characters are so cool that they give the impression of being the main character. And when you have good characters with their own unique personalities, motivations, ideas, and plans for the future, the story is born on its own. Kind of like in Game of Thrones. Even someone like Gon, who at the beginning seems like the typical empty-headed and kind of a stupid character that you see in shonen, even he goes through an incredible character development. Gon has this really natural progression thanks to all the situations he is confronted with, and gradually begins to understand how horrible the world can be. I love how Togachi portrays characters with questionable morals too. You know when you are invested in a character like that when he goes and kills someone and you're like, I bet he has his motives. I love the fact that the members of the Phantom Troop worry when they capture one of their own. I love the fact that they talk to each other casually. It feels like they have a life and thoughts of their own. I mean, most of them wouldn't even know Gon's name if it weren't for the fact that they cross paths with him at some point. Gon is never so important for them. They have their own goals. Togachi not only gives his characters a rich inner world, but he also nails the character design aspect. I love that Hunter x Hunter has like 30 characters with this face, which oddly enough is the face that almost every character I like has. Depression maybe. I love how well portrayed the characters are. Look at anyone's face and instantly get an idea of what they are like, from their facial expressions to the way they dress. And it doesn't feel like they are adding things for the sake of adding things. Like in Digimon, they would add multiple bells to almost everyone just because. In Hunter x Hunter, all the outfits are great. You can tell Togachi has immense attention to detail. It feels like every outfit in the anime perfectly represents the characters, like an accurate representation of who they are as individuals. From the simplicity of Gon's outfit to Hisoka's more intricate outfit, and in a weird way, they don't look silly at all. We're talking about characters that could easily make an entire small town vanish with their powers alone. If I had that kind of power, I'd also dress cool and mysterious like Crollo. He kind of looks like a character out of Nana. He's mysterious and has this cool stoic look. He looks great, just like you would imagine the leader of the Phantom Troop would look like. I also think it's really cool that sometimes the characters change outfits, especially Killua, the king of drip. Just look at how much his outfits vary. Favorites are the original design, this one, and this one. And well, alongside a perfect character design, there's this beautiful soundtrack. The quality of the soundtrack in Hunter x Hunter is probably one of the best I ever heard in an anime. Usually, most anime have a couple of good songs and maybe if you're lucky, one or two good openings. Which by the way, I like that they never change the opening theme. Don't you ever get so familiar with the opening of an anime that you think to yourself, this is the best opening I ever heard. What a great opening. I wish they never changed. Well, that doesn't happen with Hunter x Hunter. The composer must have realized that he already reached total perfection and said, well, that's it. I'm just gonna change the visuals. Well, Hunter x Hunter doesn't just have a couple of good songs. The entire soundtrack is amazing. Each track is super distinctive and perfectly represents the emotion they are intended to convey. I like that it feels like the composer drew inspiration from a lot of different types of music. It doesn't sound like a bunch of songs with the same style. The soundtrack goes from the happiest track you could ever hear, worthy of being in Crash Bandicoot, to the darkest and gloomiest track you could ever imagine. The soundtrack is full of energy, and there are several songs that if you show them to someone who has no idea that they come from an anime, they would probably think that a couple of them are classical music pieces. I don't know how they managed to create such perfect themes for the characters. Listen to the tracks they use for Gon. This is probably the most airheaded music I ever heard in my life, and it works so well because this is how I picture Gon's head 70% of the time. Then you listen to the Solvik family theme, and it's the most evil assassin theme you could ever imagine. It captures the mystery of the family perfectly, the atmosphere of danger, and the elegance of the grandpa walking around like this too. The fights are good. All the fights in this anime have this level of tension that is impossible to achieve with a battle of physical attacks only. Every fight feels like a mental confrontation between the characters. You don't necessarily need to have the most powerful power to make an interesting fight. My favorite moments were times when the characters were clearly at a disadvantage and had to squeeze every drop of their intellect to not lose and probably die. Every fight feels like the end of the first Saw movie when they explain everything and you feel that satisfaction of, wow, it all closed perfectly, I can't believe it. And there are even times when characters avoid fighting because they know they don't stand a chance. I mean, Nov even lost his hair color by the sheer stress of thinking about confronting the royal guards. Togachi's skill at designing the fights and using the character's powers in completely unique ways is insane. In other anime, it's not so uncommon for characters to have special powers, but most of the time they just hit each other with their hands or use their powers to launch balls of energy to hurt their opponents. In Hunter x Hunter, the characters don't win by mindlessly dealing damage to their opponent. They win because they outsmarted the other person, and I love that. I love Hunter x Hunter. It's really difficult to explain how good it is in just one video. The show is a complete roller coaster of totally unexpected things, perfect for someone with ADHD. I definitely think it deserves the title of masterpiece. It does so many things right, and it's such a cool and unforgettable story. What do you think makes Hunter x Hunter so special and different from most other anime? Do you have a favorite character? Mine is probably Killua or Machi. I want to thank you all for the support you guys give me in every video. I love to read the comments the days after I upload a video. It gets me strained. So I want to thank you for taking the time to write your comments. I truly appreciate it. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you like my content, you can join my little army of handsome people. We have achieved all the goals set, 69, 40, 20, and we finally reached the forbidden number, 666. Let's get to the next target, 11111. Hope you had a good week. See you in the next video. Bye bye.